Hi there, Gabrielle Moore here, and you're going to love this video I prepared specially for you. If you've been in a relationship for some time, you may find things not as hot as they used to be. Sure, you may still be having sex with your partner every now and then, but the action seems to have cooled down quite a bit. Sometimes she may even reject your advances for sex, leaving you disappointed and frustrated. If that's what's happening to you, then be sure to watch this video from start till the very end, because I'm going to share my secret technique for easily reversing all this. You see, one of the most dreaded excuses men get from women in bed is, "Not tonight, dear, I'm tired." But do you know that when your lover rejects you in this manner, there may be deeper psychological reasons for her doing so? Very often, her tiredness is used to cover up her disinterest for sex with you, especially for couples that have been passionately having hot, lustful sex at the start of their relationships. This sudden disinterest by your partner can be quite worrying. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to talk about 3 things you absolutely should not do if you're in such a situation. If you are currently frustrated by the state of your sex life, or the lack of it, these are 3 things you should refrain from doing, no matter how tempting they may be. First, stop indulging in pornography. Many men who have frustrating or dead-in-the-water sex lives turn to pornography to relieve themselves. Guess what happens? While pornography satisfies the urge temporarily, it really is not a healthy outlet for your sexual urges. Those who have watched pornography will readily tell you that they feel even more inadequate and disappointed with their own relationships in the end. They may even feel guilty about not measuring up. Second, stop looking elsewhere for someone to fulfill your sexual fantasies. I understand how difficult it can be sometimes when that sexual tension is just mounting and your lover is unwilling to satisfy it for you. You may be tempted to indulge in a little sinful pleasure by having a quickie with someone you shouldn't. But stop. Think about the consequences these will have for your relationship, which you have invested much time and effort in. Like pornography, indulging in an affair may be thrilling or even satisfying, but the thrill is only temporary until the guilt and frustration really sets back in. The third thing you should not do is suffer in silence. This is what most men do. They are unhappy about the non-existent state of their sex lives, and yet never tell anyone about it, or get around to doing anything about it. I'm here to tell you today that the only person who can revive and reignite your sex life is you. Don't even depend on your lover to do it. Chances are your lover is as clueless as you. And because your lover looks to you to fulfill her needs, you better make sure you have the knowledge to do the job. You don't want to disappoint her, do you? Don't let your ignorance ruin your sex life, relationship, or self-esteem. Stop suffering in silence and do the right thing about it. Because I have coached thousands of couples over the past few years about how to bring some of that passion back into their relationships. I have come up with a few highly effective techniques you can put into action right now. Ready? Here goes. First of all, you have to understand why your lover seems to be losing interest in sex. Here's the good news. While your lover may be rejecting your advances for sex night after night, it does not mean that her sexual desire is totally gone. In many cases, it is just hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered by you. Let me explain. One major difference between women and men is how they are sexually wired and how they become sexually aroused. Men are imaginative, physical, and visual creatures. You probably know what I mean by this, when just simply staring at your lover's twin peaks can make you stand at attention. But sadly, that's not the case for women. Women do not get sexually aroused visually, which means they can be staring at your naked body all day and still not feel a thing. This is the first fundamental difference you have to understand when you ask your lover for sex. While you may be aroused by her body, or simply just by the thought of having kinky hot sex with her, know that your lover does not function the same way as you. It actually takes a whole different path for her to get sexually turned on and aroused. Here's the key secret. Women are aroused by affection. If you only remember one thing from this video about how to make your lover happy, then write this word down. Affection. But what does it mean to be affectionate? The definition of affection means to show fondness or a liking for. This means you must perform actions that show you like her or care about her. Now, most men make the mistake of saying, "But I'm not an affectionate person." That's because men usually like to be perceived as macho, rough, or manly. The common mistake you may be making is to assume that women like their men to be manly and macho. Well, this is true to a certain extent. It's not because women adore men who are more masculine. It's only because women perceive masculine men as those who are able to take better care of them. Do you see how this works by now? If a woman feels turned on or sexually aroused by you, it's not because of how you look, but rather what you do to show you care about her. This brings us to the second secret. You show affection through your actions. Think back to the start of your relationship. If you're like most couples, chances are you would have jumped at the chance of having hot, lustful sex, even quickies, in the wildest of places. Your lover would most likely have been a willing partner too. What made her so sexually aroused back then? And why is it so difficult to unleash her sexual desire now? It's simple. At the start of your relationship, you probably did a lot of small, affectionate actions that showed you care about her. Actions such as holding a door for her, sending her flowers, telling her, "I love you," and whispering sweet nothings into her ear. Guess what? All of those actions turned her on immensely. That's why she was so willing to reciprocate and give you hot sex. But don't make the mistake of assuming that all these no longer work on her. In fact, these actions still turn her on greatly. She's just not telling you, maybe because of embarrassment or her own lack of confidence. But if your sex life is down in the dumps, then I'm betting that you hardly do things like that anymore. You hardly tell her how much you appreciate or love her. Neither do you send flowers as frequently. So what should you do if you want to ignite that passion that sparks in your relationship? You start right now. You lay the groundwork before you even pop the question. Give her the red carpet treatment that starts long before the big bang. Take time to roll the red carpet for her and walk her down the path. And I guarantee you'll be duly rewarded for your efforts. Here are 3 things you can do to put all these into action. I call them innocent sexual cues. Innocent because to men, these actions have absolutely nothing to do with sex. But sexual because to women, each time you do one of these, it just builds up that sexual tension beneath them until it finally overflows like a spurting fountain. So if you're serious about improving your sex life, then don't just watch this video. Put these 3 things I say into action starting right now. You'll be surprised at what you get in the bedroom tonight. First, hug your lover. Most women love to be hugged. Have you ever observed how often they hug their men, girlfriends, children, animals, family, or even an occasional stuffed animal? That's right. Hugging is a very affectionate move for women, and it turns on those romantic switches in their mind that make them more receptive to sex. If you're not hugging your lover much right now, throw in a few hugs during the day. Remember, don't make them anything sexual, because your lover does not get aroused the same way as you do. Instead, treat it as a genuine move to reconnect with her. Do this 3 to 5 times throughout the day. Now that you have the hugs in place, hold hands with her more often. Holding hands is a highly effective gesture for affection. If you're starting to take hand-holding for granted or have even stopped doing it altogether, make an effort to hold her hand the next time you're out for a walk. She may not tell you how she feels, but rest assured that your lover is picking all this up. The third thing you can do is take your woman out to dinner. If you've been in a relationship for a while and are married with children, it may be difficult for your wife to take any time off. Or if both of you are busy with work, it may be difficult to really spend some quiet time with one another. That's why you should make it a point to take her out to dinner, even if it just happens once in a while. During dinner, you want to make sure to convey this message to her, or even say to her, "I don't want you to have to lift a finger this evening. You are special to me, and I want to show you how much I love and appreciate you." On the surface, she may roll her eyes, but let me tell you as a lady how much we love that on the inside and how much it gets us going. Chances are she's going to feel more warmed up to you than she has ever before. There you have it. 3 innocent sexual cues you can easily add to your daily life to spice things up a little bit. As I mentioned, These may not seem like much to you. They may not even seem like meaningful actions, but your lover will be sapping all this up. Let's recap. Throughout the day, you would have showered her with hugs, held her hand, showed her how much you care, and even taken her out to dinner. Now please use some common sense here. If you have not done any of this in a long time, then you really want to start and go slow. The last thing you want is for her to be suspicious of you and for your actions to backfire. Give yourself a few days to sneak these little actions into your love life. Once you have dropped all these innocent sexual cues, two wonderful things can happen. First, your lover may be so warmed up and sexually receptive by now that she actually asks you to have sex. If that happens, you know what to do, don't you? But be warned, you must be prepared for some very hot and passionate, even demanding lovemaking. The second thing that can happen is that your lover does not verbally tell you, but deep inside, she's actually warmed up and ready for sex. In fact, if you follow my instructions and use the 3 innocent sexual cues regularly throughout the day, she's going to be so sexually receptive to you by the end of the day or week. She is going to want to connect with you intimately on a deeper level. The only thing left for you to do then is to give it all to her. Now, there are many more of these highly effective sexual cues than I can cover in this short 15-minute video, but I want to give you an idea of how this works. The key mistake most guys make is popping the question without any advanced preparation. It's like getting off of the limousine and expecting to be at the grand ball. Remember how you have to warm things up a little first by walking down the red carpet? When you drop all of these innocent sexual cues throughout the day, your lover is picking them up and getting primed for the big event. When you pop the question at the end of the day, you can rest assured of a yes, please, more than anything else. One question I get very often is this: Gabrielle, how do I speed things up? Well, you can not only speed things up, but also spice things up by dropping a whole lot of other sexual cues for your lover. In fact, some are so uncommon and innocent that most men have never heard of them before, but they absolutely make girls go crazy. Trust me, as a lady, I know what it takes to set me on fire. How would you like to be the man who uses one of these techniques on your lover? Needless to say, your lady will see you as her perfect, irreplaceable lover. That is why my latest course, Double Her Desire, contains 3 play manuals chock full of techniques you can use to skyrocket your sex life. I go beyond the common, overused techniques to give you step-by-step instructions on how you can turn those annoying no's into yes, please, don't stop, night after night. And here's my personal guarantee to you. If following my step-by-step instructions in the 3 play manuals does not give you the best sex humanly possible, or if your lover does not turn around and beg you for sex to the point that you have to turn her down, the course is free. Yes, if I can't help you revive your sex life and get it crackling like a bonfire, then no one can. Oh, by the way, if you click on the big orange button below and reserve your copy of Double Her Desire right now, you'll not only get it at 1/3 the usual price, but I'll also throw in my Wet and Wild Shower Sex Games bonus. You will be absolutely thrilled when you learn how to turn those boring showers into exciting and naughty spurts of joy for both you and your lover. Don't delay. Click the big orange button below to get your copy. I'll talk to you soon. Kisses, your friend, Gabrielle Moore.